With the average cost of school lunches nationally between $55 and $60 a month, schools are increasingly turning to online payment systems. They're run by payment processing companies, which typically charge transaction fees. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau looked at the 300 biggest U.S. public school districts and estimates that the fees can amount to as much as $42 in a school year, and families qualifying for reduced price meals may be paying 60 cents in fees for every dollar spent. Cora Lewis is an Associated Press business reporter who covers money and inequality. Cora, tell us, how do these fees work?
Sure. So the fees typically work in that they take place when parents are transferring money to their students' school lunch accounts. So it's not at the point of sale, it's when parents are loading up their kids for the week or for the school year. And when the transaction fees can be as high as $3.25 a transaction or 4 or 5%, those really add up over the course of a year.
They add up over the course of the year. We spoke with the mother of a sixth grader talking about how it adds up for her. Let's take a listen.
$2.50 doesn't seem like a big deal, but if you're struggling, $2.50 is a school lunch. Or if you're having to pay that twice in a week, that's $5. That's a quarter of a tank of gas. It's a big deal. And unless you're looking for it, you don't really notice it.
Corey, I know you've talked to other parents. Is that typically what you've heard?
Yes, that's exactly right. The way the system works, it means that parents who have fewer resources end up paying more fees more frequently because they can't necessarily afford to load up their kids' accounts with hundreds of dollars once. They have to pay as they go.
What other groups of parents are perhaps disproportionately affected by this?
Yeah, so I think you mentioned people who qualify for free or reduced lunch end up paying a disproportionate amount of fees despite qualifying for what should be subsidized meals. So there are these ways in which you're really penalized for not having enough money to work the system.
So, in other words, a parent who can afford to pay maybe a week or a month at a time will pay the fee just those times, but a parent who's living paycheck to paycheck, who has to put in the money over a short term, gets hit every time?
That's exactly right.
Now, the Agriculture Department says that schools that participate in the school nutrition program, which is about all of them, have to have a free method for putting money into these accounts. So how do they get around this? Are they there and are they used?
Yes, so technically, the fee-free option should be available at every public school district. You should be able to pay by cash or by check. But these payment processors, they really have a captive audience because it's just massively inconvenient to have to walk over to the school office and write a check or pay by cash, especially when you might be a family that already doesn't have the time or the money to take on another logistical challenge.
Are regulators or lawmakers looking into doing something about this or regulating them somehow?
Yes, so the U.S. Department of Agriculture has publicly committed to take further action around this issue. In 2017, they put out guidance stating that school districts are mandated to be more transparent and to actively inform parents that there should always be a fee-free option. They should always be able to pay by cash or check. But I think this report from the CFPB really highlights that these government agencies are taking this seriously and are scrutinizing these companies for their practices, which maybe don't adhere with the spirit of the law.
Well, what advice or what would you say to parents who have to deal with this?
Yeah, I would definitely say be aware that federal policy states that you should always be able to pay by cash or by check to avoid these fees. And then there have been examples of school districts where the districts themselves have successfully negotiated down the fees in their contracts with the payment processing companies. So if you're a parent and you can talk to your school district administrators about other possibilities, even of the district itself covering the fees rather than those costs being passed on to parents, those are some options.
Cora Lewis of the Associated Press, thank you very much.
Thank you.